everyone, my name is Isabel and I wanted to make a mid-year book tag for you guys. If you're new here, hello. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm pretty new to YouTube and to BookTube, but I wanted to share my thoughts as being a fellow reader, and I would love to hear your guys' thoughts and your favorite books that you have read so far this year. I think it is September. Yeah, it is September. And I think that's about mid-year. I think it might be July. Wait. Okay, so July is 6 months into the year. So we're a little bit late, but that's okay because I've been thinking about this video for a long time and I wanted to create something cool. So I have some notes written here with the tag, and I think it's gonna be fun to kind of share my thoughts and opinions on books. And before we get started, I have my little Halloween sweatshirt on. I have my water bottle that I just got from Target, and it keeps stuff cool. So yeah, get a tea, get a little snack, and get settled in, okay? Because this is gonna be fun, all right? Book that made me cry. So this one was kind of a surprise for me. It's called Words in Deep Blue by Cath Crowley. And this book kind of threw me for a loop. It basically has two different love stories within it. It's a contemporary romance, and it's about a second chance romance, childhood friends to lovers. The main boy in the story runs his own bookstore with his family, a letter library in the bookstore where people write different letters to each other. It could be people that they know, and the bookstore is closing. So this girl comes back to town after dealing with something very heavy in grief, so trigger warning for grief, and she meets up with this guy again, and they reconcile and become friends again. And I'm not gonna do any spoilers, but it was just sad and funny and just amazing, honestly. I gave it 4 stars because I really liked it. I like to cry in books. It doesn't happen often, but when it does, I'm sitting there sobbing. My husband in bed with me is like, why are you crying? Because, okay, I've suffered with my own loss and grief, so I feel like when grief is brought up in books, if it's done in a good way and it's done in a way that's not super triggering, I really liked this book. But yeah, 4 stars, I do recommend. The next book I don't have the physical copy of. This is gonna be a reoccurring occurrence in my videos because I do read a lot of audiobooks on Libby. I read audiobooks on Spotify, I do Kindle Unlimited, so I don't always have a physical book. I love having physical books, I love shopping for physical books, I love spending too much money on physical books, but I don't always have. But I'm gonna say, The Unfortunate Side Effects of Heartbreak and Magic by Brianne Randall. I was starting to get into more witchy books. The Ex-Hex, like 3 years ago, and I really liked it, and I wanted to get more into it, especially like going into fall. I was reading them in like August, so I read this one, and I read it on as an audiobook, and I read it on my way to going camping with my family. And again, trigger warning, there is grief in this book, and I thought this was going to be very centered on romance with kind of a witchy little spooky little undertone, but no, it is not a romance book. It has a romance subplot in it, but the main book is about a woman who is suffering with her own loss of her grandma, and she runs a bakery, and a lot of it is centered on kitchen witchery, which I love. I am a witch myself, and I love cooking in the kitchen and whipping up things that have magic within them, within the herbs that I use. I love to cook with intention, so a lot of this book is about her making her own recipes, which I also love because at the end of, I think, almost every chapter there's a recipe that goes along with the story, which was really fun to see. And I want the physical copy of this book just because I want the recipes, and I really liked it. Again, it made me cry. but I did give it, I think, 4.5 stars, so I recommend this one as well. The next tag I have for you guys is a book that made me happy. I also don't have a physical copy of this book because I lent it to my friend who also likes Emily Henry. This is her newest release. Emily Henry books are like a fuzzy blanket. They're just my comfort books. They're like what keeps me centered in life. I love Emily Henry books. And I feel like they're very like coming of age novels where these adults are figuring stuff out, which is like similar to where I am in life a lot of the time, and I just love it. This book is called Funny Story, I think, because it's a kind of a taboo story where this woman has a fiance, and her fiance leaves her for his childhood best friend who he's in love with, and ends up marrying her, or about to marry her. She ends up moving in with the ex of the woman that he falls for. So they're both like newly heartbroken, and every Sunday he's trying to convince her to stay in Michigan and not leave by introducing her to all the fun things there. It made me want to visit Michigan. I've never wanted to visit Michigan until I read this book, and it was just a really special story. I give it 6 stars. I also read this one a little bit slower than when I normally read books because I wanted to savor it, because Emily Henry books are just chocolate to me. I love them. They're so good. And that kind of goes into our next tag, which is my favorite author, Emily Henry. I love Emily Henry. I started my reading journey, or I guess I should say restarted my reading journey. I've always been a reader. I feel like the last 2 years I've been reading to the max of my ability, where I just read every moment of free time that I have. I've already read 42 books this year in September, which is pretty good for me. I know some people are out there reading like 200, 250. I'm not at that level yet. I do have a job and I do have a social life and I can't always be reading. But yes, I think my first book was Beach Read that I read, and that is still to this day one of my favorite romance books, and she is one of my favorite authors. So I was really excited that I got to read Funny Story. It's a super good summer book. I loved it. Definitely recommend. The next book I wanted to bring up is, I also read it on audiobook version. I read Powerless by Lauren Roberts. This book, if you like ACOTAR, fantasy, Hunger Games vibes, read this book. Seriously, 6 stars. Best book I've read this year by far. That also goes into our next tag, which is my best sequel, which is the next book in the series, which is Reckless. Again, oh my god, the plot twist at the end too is insane, and I was not expecting it. And it's just, I can't even get into this book, you guys. Like, oh my god, what do I even say? What do I even say? I'd say it's Hunger Games. All the characters have magical powers, and the main girl is powerless, aka the title of the story. So looked down upon, and they're called ordinaries, and anyone that is an ordinary is killed, and the guy that kills them is the love interest, okay? So it's kind of an enemies to lovers trope. It's amazing. The second book is amazing. I can't go into the second book because it's a lot of spoilers, but seriously, read it. Tell me what you think, okay? It's really good. You won't regret it. I give it 6 stars, both books. Probably 10 stars on the second book, because all right, most relatable character. Okay, so I do have the physical book of this guy. This is called See You Yesterday by Rachel Solomon. This was given to me by my cousin, which we have a book club together, me, my cousin, my aunt. It's really cute. This one is a time travel romance where it's kind of a Groundhog Day, and they're always stuck in one day in September. It's just these two that are stuck, and everyone else isn't stuck, so they keep reliving the same day, and they find each other, and it's really sweet and special. And why I relate to this character, so I guess it's real vulnerable to talk about why you like relate to a character you liked a book sometimes, but she's Jewish. I am also of Jewish heritage. She is very body positive, which I love, and I feel like she doesn't always see herself in the best light, but he sees her in the best light, and he sees that she's like the only person in the world to him, and it's just really special like how they come together. And I really liked their relationship, and it was just really cute and cozy read. It was a really quick read for me. I like time travel romances. I kind of want to get more into time travel tropes. So yeah, recommend this one. It was 4 stars as well. My biggest surprise, this one threw me through the ringer, okay? Magnolia Parks by Jessica Hastings. Actually, yesterday I went to Barnes & Noble and I bought this copy because I didn't have the physical copy. Again, I read it on my Kindle, and then I bought the next 2 books in the series because it's insane. It's insane. Okay, I would say this book is like Gossip Girl set in England. Okay, the 2 main characters are very rich, and Magnolia, I really like her personality. Like, she just doesn't take shit from people, and it's an interesting story too. It's very toxic. Their relationship is extremely toxic, which I don't usually read books like that, okay? I read books like this where they're all cutesy, lovey. There's the start of the relationship that's their happy ending. This book, on the other hand, childhood friends to lovers, and they start a relationship, and BJ, the main character, cheats on her, and the book starts 3 years after when he cheated on her, and they're still like seeing each other. They're soulmates. They see each other every day. He sleeps in her bed still. It's crazy. It threw me for a whirlwind. She is also extremely toxic to him in other ways. But there's also a huge plot twist at the end of this book, and it made me seriously want to read all of the series. And my favorite YouTuber, Sarah Caroli, read this, and that's why I kind of started with it. And if you know, you know. Like, if you read this, it's just so good. Like, I was just so surprised that I liked it. Like, I kind of went into it where I was like, I know they're toxic to each other. I don't know if I'm gonna like it. I gave it 4 stars. Okay, I really liked it. I really, really liked it. And I don't really like the cheating trope either, but the way it's done, you have to go into it knowing that it's not a cutesy romance. That's all I can say. Okay? Okay, and then this is the last tag, but my biggest disappointment, again, don't have this physical book, but I have it on my Kindle, and I pulled it up for you guys. It's called Fall Into You by Caroline Frank. I am confused why this has like a 3.95 stars, because I gave it 1.5 stars. Okay, guys, I did not like this book whatsoever. I liked it when it started, and I know it's a holiday romance. It's getting you excited for the fall. I like to read Christmas books around Christmas time, and I know going into it, I'm not like, oh my god, this is gonna be a life-changing book. I know that. I do it for fun, okay? It's like a Hallmark movie in a book, and I like it, but this has some awful tropes in it, okay? They're both super toxic when they're not trying to be. The author did not make them toxic. It's not like this where the author knows that they're toxic. No, they're just awful, okay? It's a best friend brothers romance, okay? And they're cute at first. They go to the pumpkin patch together. It's cute. But the brother tells the best friend, don't touch my sister. She's like a 30-year-old woman. Like, huh? It doesn't make any sense. A lot of this had a lot of plot holes. I don't understand why there's so many good reviews. But yeah. Anyways, if you watch this to the end, or if you watch this at all, I really appreciate you watching this video. I'm so excited to start this YouTube channel. I have been wanting to start a YouTube channel forever, and I'm excited to create more book videos, more lifestyle videos. So if you could definitely like this video, I really appreciate it. Bye guys, thanks for watching.